Good evening, gentle listener, and welcome to Distractible. This episode, Mechanic Mark has tingling cheeks but still makes the deadline, so wants to know his pals' red-eye moments. Witless Wade wants a Baldmobile, has boffing dogs, insomnia, and gets wired editing for a vacation. Backward Bob gets scam spammed and shirks contractual duties for McDee's and Cod. From roller chairs to Pokemon Blue. Yes! It's time for All-Nighters. Now sit back and prepare to be distracted and enjoy the show.
Is that the intro? That's a bold move.
You know me, I'm a bold man. You know who else is bold?
Me, I've not had hair forever.
Bold.
Oh, no.
The listeners of this podcast, welcome to another incredible episode of Distractible. And it's incredible because I'm here. Unlike those other episodes. I wasn't there. That was an artificial recreation of me.
Mark's been checked out for years.
Shh. Mark's been here. No, it's all Mark. Don't worry.
I am hosting today's episode. If you've never listened to Distractible before, welcome. This is quite a first episode to come into. I think, anyway. I don't know. I'm kind of building out the stakes of this. But how it works is I judge a topic of my choosing, and these unwilling participants, Bob and Wade, who are contractually obligated to be here, have to play my game of mischief and wonder. And then I'll pick a winner based on the points that I assign. I have my you guys get Post-its today.
Hey, that's pretty good.
How are you guys doing?
Oh, so good. Guys, have you ever seen those ads online that are like, is your chair not rolled very good on your carpet? Put rollerblade wheels on it and then it'll roll real good.
I want them. That's great.
I did it. Look. Ah! It's fine. I forgot my headphone cable is approximately 3 feet long. I think I'm still plugged in. It's fine. Anyway, look.
Wow, man, that's crazy.
Whoa, you're really moving in your chair. Me too, man.
I got a really cheap set of rollerblade wheel upgrade. My chair rolls good now, which is delightful.
Mine too.
Oh, it sounds smooth.
It's the world's squeakiest chair. I fucking hate it.
I got one of those plastic floor mats to roll my chair on, and my green screen rests on the very back of it. So whenever I roll backwards, it kind of sounds like in a construction site if you hear someone step out on the ledge of the metal pillar as I scoot back, and it's kind of a terrifying noise.
What construction site are you talking about? Who's stepping on ledge? What kind of pirate ship construction site? They're walking the metal plank?
You know, the action movie construction site, rickety metal pillar noise, the big metal wampa.
What?
I'm so lost. I thought I was gonna.
You know, when the crane holds the metal and they step and it's like.
I know exactly. Oh, that's not a wampa noise.
No, it's a.
No, you're losing me again. I thought I found you.
You know, when the stormy seas on the construction site, they rock the ship back and forth. What was the point of that?
Because he's got roller blades and I've got roller death. Oh, back to you.
Okay, yeah, good. Anyway, my chair rolls real good and I love it now.
That's great. I don't know what ads you're referring to. You're getting so targeted.
I get targeted for office supply ads. I don't know. It's not like a lot, but you've never seen the thing where they're like, put these wheels on your chair and it'll roll real smooth. And then it's like an office chair.
Never seen that. Not once.
That's fair.
I think people tweeting the word bald at me has made it to where I only get hair loss ads. I think the fact that I look at Twitter and it's just like, wow, Wade is bald. It's like, then everything's like, oh, he keeps looking at these bald messages. Maybe he needs some hair.
Well, what do people tweet at me then? Crypto scam?
Do you get nothing but crypto scam?
I get so many crypto scams, guys. Half of my entire Twitter everything when I go on that app is just some crypto scam or Web 3.0 NFT, whatever bullshit scam thing. And it's like, neat. I'll be sure to click on that.
Oh, yeah. I got some travel ad, car ad.
I would like car ads. I love cars.
There's actually a lot of car ads. Wait, no, why?
Let me know if you find a good one. Someone is still looking in this group.
I thought you had one ordered.
Well, we've got one on wait, but that's more for Molly. I still need one.
Ah. Can't you just get a Corvette then or something? If Molly's getting a big people mover?
I could just leave and go probably buy a car, but like I want to figure out which one I want.
You know what you should buy? I was trying to think of something funny, but there are no bald cars.
Wait, are there hairy cars?
I don't know. Well, I was trying to figure out if there was. It's nothing.
What movie was the Shaggin' Wagon where it was like a dog? Was it called the Shaggin' Wagon?
Are you talking about the dog truck that they drive in Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah. I've not seen that since I was very young, so it's like I barely remember, but yeah.
Man, this is hilarious because it's like so far this whole podcast is everyone just forgetting their train of thought halfway through, but not in the same way where it's like, oh, it's distractible.
I didn't forget wheels.
Oh,
the
right,
office
wheels.
chair. I'm on point here.
I never know what's going on.
Neither do I. Anything else you guys would like to bring up at this juncture of the episode?
Sleep's important after not sleeping well for like a week, which maybe everyone in this call can relate to a bit. One with a baby, one with a movie baby, me with myself being the baby. Man, I love sleep, and God, it's been hard to come by the last like 3 weeks.
Wow, this is crazy because Wade just got himself the segue point. Ding, 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 ding.
My brain waves and yours are meshing.
I like that gesture, but I didn't want to say that I liked it. So today's episode is not about sleep necessarily. It's actually about the lack thereof, but a specific way. We're going to talk about all-nighters, right? The experiences that have called for them and when they have been necessary in your life and what for. Because last night, well, actually yesterday, have we done this episode? You guys are looking at me like I might have done.
I don't think so. We've talked about sleep and stuff in a couple ways, but I don't think we've done this specific thing. I was just honestly thinking of what I was going to talk about already.
All right, cool. Well, I'll tell a story first while you guys think of that, because the past few weeks I have been missing. In the past, I've done campaigns like, Markiplier's and Real when I've gone away. This one was so short notice and so rapid, I just had to like dive into 100% or else I wouldn't have the chance again. And so I've been prepping, the movie for a while, and I was prepping at this time to submit a version of it somewhere. I won't say where, but, prepping, packaging it. So I was doing a lot of that myself. And long story short, it culminated to yesterday. God, this was just yesterday. So I had only slept like an hour the night before and then 4 hours the night before that. So the night that I stayed up until like 8 a.m., it got to 8 a.m. and I was like, okay, I'll just try to get like an hour of sleep, but I better wake up. So I set like 5 alarms on my phone, and then I set the oven timer because I didn't trust my phone anymore because you can't trust the alarms on it. And let me tell you, that oven alarm worked because I woke up with like, the house is on fire. Oh God. Like I thought it was a fire alarm going off. But last night was even crazier because I had got it done, but where I am is kind of bad internet, so I wasn't able to upload very fast. But I had planned ahead, and I was like, okay, I'll just I'll let it go and I'll start this. But then I realized I uploaded the wrong version of it. Completely wrong. Very broken version. Just complete not what I wanted to show. So I stopped that, and then I looked at the clock, and thankfully the deadline was not midnight where I was, but midnight one time zone away from where I was. So there I am at just past midnight here. I am calling around, and there's someone here that was on the crew of the show that Anna had connected with. Ima has like fast internet, fiber internet. Ima lives 40 minutes away.
Holy Christ.
I do the math, and it's like, okay, it is just past midnight. I have less than an hour before the deadline closes. I literally ripped all the cables out of my laptop. That's why setting up took a little bit for today, because I had ripped everything out of my laptop, and I was like, I have to go immediately now. And I threw everything in my backpack. I made sure I had the right file. I double made sure. And then I went on the road, and I literally do, because I don't speed ever. So I drove like 3 over, and I was like, I'm pushing it.
Whoa! This is the most important deadline of my life. 66 and a 65.
That is what I was doing.
That's good. You're a good boy, man. You should never speed.
I don't know what it is. I can't speed no matter what. Like, if I am in a hurry, it's just like I'm gripping the steering wheel tighter while I have cruise control locked to 68. It's like,
Old ladies are like honking, going around, giving you the bird. You're like, I'm in a hurry.
yeah, but it's, I don't know. It's just the way it is. But I get there and there's 20 minutes left. And so the upload takes no time at all because it's like fiber and okay, it's uploaded. But then to submit it is a different process. And I didn't realize you had to write a synopsis, fill out the main crew, fill out the director, writer, and the main actor. You have to fill those out. And I put me. Just like this seems weird. And so I wrote like a little synopsis, and it was 11:59 when I hit submit. And it went through. It was like squeaked by just at the last second. I was so happy, and I was so grateful that there was the internet there. And I had pulled so many what I would still consider all-nighters, even if you take like a nap. I worked through the night just to like plow as much as I can, get an hour of sleep there, 4 hours the night before, and it was worth it. It was very much worth it. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it sucks to go through it, but I think there's like this response for the human brain where it's like, if you have a need, all other needs do go away. You can't pretend yourself into that mode, but once you're in that mode, it's like, shit, I gotta get done, whether it's like adrenaline or just like this kind of urgency. Yeah, I would love to hear about you guys' all-nighters or any kind of like time-based, deadline-based things that needed all of your willpower, whether it worked out or not.
Do they have to be successfully productive all-nighter?
No. They could be a total failure. It could be no good reason at all. Like I told about the other all-nighter that I played Sonic Adventures 2, and my brother and his friend didn't believe me that I stayed up all night, so it's like, it could be nothing.
The only time I've done all-nighters where I had a thing I needed to turn in was law school. I can summarize how I probably did 4 or 5 of these where it was like the next day a thing was due at the beginning of class or whatever. And I had to, all of them went the same way. And all of them were something like, okay, it's 9:30 p.m. the night before it's due. I've started on it, but it's nowhere near done. If I pull an all-nighter, I've got 13 and a half hours before I need to be in that classroom, handing in this or sending the email so that it's time-stamped before the cutoff time. Got 13 and a half hours. I probably got a little time for some video games. And proceed to play approximately 8 to 10 hours of video games. And then it gets to like 6 in the morning and I'm like, okay, gotta stop screwing around, guys. Need to focus. You know what I really need right now? I'm gonna run to McDonald's and get some breakfast real quick. I can't focus.
I thought you were gonna say, I can't focus till we get a dub, guys. Let's really lock in.
No, I'm done with the video games. But it's way too early and I just pulled an all-nighter. I deserve some breakfast. I'm just gonna go to McDonald's and pick up a quick snack and a little caffeine. And you get home, sit down, McDonald's bag on the desk, and I'm like, okay, just a couple hours left. I can't work and eat at the same time. I'll just watch like one episode of something while I eat this McDonald's. And then I work on my project for 45 minutes, shit out the crappiest brief I've ever written in my life, turn it in, boom, B-. Nailed it.
45 minutes, that's still left more time for video games.
Yeah, man, you had 15 minutes left.
Yeah, no, as I'm sitting there like, all right, well, it takes 18 minutes to get to school from walking out the front door, and I have like 36 minutes. I don't even have to leave for like an entire round of PUBG or whatever. I was not a good student at all. I don't know how I got away with. What's funny is one of those all-nighters was for a thing in my contracts, one of my contracts courses that I took. In that class, I got a book award, which is an award they give out every semester to the people who get the highest grade in the class.
Oh.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what kind of special brain powers I have, but they make me horrendously irresponsible. And somehow I still get by with like, I mostly get B's in school, regardless of how terrible of a student I am. No idea how that worked. Couldn't tell you. Don't be like me, kids. Do your homework. Get some sleep.
I think that more people are probably like that than would ever admit it. All these success gurus and whatnot that say like, you just gotta get up at 4 a.m. and go to work out. No excuses, da-da-da. And it's like, sure, they do that maybe, but it's like they don't fill every single day with nothing but work. Even me, like here in the past 3 weeks, some of these days I just like, I would go in there and I would move lights I moved lights for 8 hours straight because I was like, it could be, let's tweak it. Let's tweak it. Let me tweak it. I think it was better before. Let me go back. Well, that's not what it was before. And I was just like, it's like doing nothing. Spinning your wheels is like such a, oh God.
You hear that SpongeBob meme where he sits down to write and he's like, and it's just a huge ornate T.
That is so what it is. Because in the edit, I was doing this one thing in the edit where I was like, I get so locked in, like I can do something cool here. And I tried to make these two shots match cut to each other. I do that a lot. And it just wasn't working. But I was like, no, let me try something else. Let me try that again. Let me move one frame here. Let me use smooth cut. Nah, cross it all. Let me cut out that shape, put it on. And hours on this stupid thing that no one's gonna ever care about. God, I'd like to brag that I'm a good editor, and I think I am, but sometimes I'm just my own worst enemy in editing. Ugh.
Nice segue, because editing is one of the things I've stayed up. I've got a few different, I've not stayed up all night that often. Usually whenever I get together with friends, we'd be like, dude, let's pull it all night. We're gonna play video games, watch stuff. And then like by 3 a.m, everyone but me is passed out. And I'm like, fucking wasn't even my idea to do this shit. Why am I the only one awake? So then I'd cave in. But before a PAX one year, I was recording, oh God, what was the name of the game? I always forget the name of the game. It was a horror game, popular, Craven Manor. It was Craven Manor.
Settlers of Catan.
Craven Manor.
Oh, okay.
I think I've told this story, but like we had to leave for a flight, I think at 6:15 in the morning. We had to leave at 6:15 to get to the airport. And I finished recording, oh God, it had to be like 5:30 a.m. And I was like, okay, edit, process, thumbnail. I've got 45 minutes. Shit, I haven't packed. I can pack while it's rendering. And we were out the door at 6:17. But let me tell you, that recording session, every death, I was like, dude, if I die one more time, we're not going to make our flight. It was high pressure, high stakes recording of like, I gotta finish. I know I'm close to the end of the game. I can't die again. And worst thumbnail, probably worst editing job I've ever done, where it was like, cut this out. Intro, outro, good. There's probably nothing I need to do in the middle. Render that shit.
I doubt I said a slur in there. It's probably fine.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not today.
How long are my videos usually? 48 minutes? That's probably right.
No, I think that was still back in my like try to cap at 15 days. I don't remember. It's been a while, but dude, I remember getting to the airport, like the adrenaline of like getting that done. And it was like I was wide awake. Then like halfway through the drive to the airport, my body is like, kill me. Like, what? Oh God, Molly, I'm tired. It hit me really hard about halfway there. Then like, we had to fly there. I don't remember if it was Boston or Seattle, but like it was one of those two. Maybe, I mean, I guess there was one in San Antonio back in the day too. So I remember like falling asleep on the plane for like, half an hour or whatever. And then we got there and like friends wanted to meet up for lunch and then dinner. And it was like, yeah, we can do whatever y'all want to do today. Meanwhile, I'm just like looking at our hotel, like a tear running down my face, like bed. No, it's great to see you guys. Bed.
Yeah, man, it's crazy because when I woke up from that nap, like the hour that I got sleep, it was death. Like I woke up and I was like, "There's no way I can do anything." But I was clawing myself out of my couch bed, just because it's a bowl, right? So I put two couches together, so I have to crawl out of there. I'm like, oh, and I fall in the.
I don't know why I'm picturing like a lattice, like Dutch or like an apple pie, where you're clawing out of the crust of your bed.
The bunk couch? Are you talking about the bunk couch? No, so it's like, and I thought like, I was just like, there's no way, I need more sleep. I can't do this. Oh no, I'm not going to hit it. And then I had coffee delivered. So I was like, this is the first time I've ever felt coffee instantly help because I woke up starting from my mouth. I swear to God, I don't know how to explain it. As soon, like, I felt my cheeks start tingling in there, and I was like, my body must just be absorbing it from my cheeks or mouth or something. And then I just started, and then I was like, I can do this. I've never had that effect with caffeine before in my life. Like, I drink caffeine every day, but it's just like it was a rescue then because there was no way, man. And then I was fine the whole day. I was shocked.
You know, another time I tried all-nighters was actually when we lived together, Mark.
Oh, yeah?
My freshman year of college, I was went to college for music education, and I played tuba. And for anyone who doesn't know, the way that works is my major was education, so a lot of my classes were like pedagogical classes, like here's how they teach you how to sing, so that you can teach beginning singers how to and all this sort of stuff. But also you have to still be in the studio that all the performance majors are in, and you have to still be reasonably good at your instrument. You don't just get to be a useless piece of shit on your instrument and become a teacher of music. And so I was in the studio, and class was fine and school was fine, but I was struggling with the performance part because I'd never really played as a tuba player. I'd never really done a lot of solo stuff. I was always just in the band or in the back of the jazz band or whatever. And I had no like virtuosity. If you recall, Mark, because we were in the dorm together, my freshman year of college, I also played a lot of Modern Warfare. Call of Duty 4 was relatively fresh. You brought a TV, I brought an Xbox 360, and I played so much Call of Duty. Mark was asleep 3.5 feet away from me on our very safe bunk bed, and I'm sitting in the middle of our dorm room clacking away on COD 4 for just hours every night. And eventually, like, I wasn't getting better at tuba enough, and I was like, you know what? I stay up like so late just playing video games and stuff. What if instead I practiced my instrument? And so instead of playing Call of Duty, there was a stretch where I would just go over to the practice rooms and get set up. And some people did that, but not a lot. The practice rooms during the day are like bustling, busy. Like you have to wait for a room. You have to really fight, and not in the middle of the night. No one was that insane except for like
I was hoping you were doing this in the dorm room. You're like, well, Mark doesn't wake up to Call of Duty.
No. Dude, so Mark was the only person on the first 4 floors of our entire dorm that was like not a music major, basically, because we were in the CCM dorm. They did not tolerate that shit. And no one, except for singers, because singers are singers and they just do it whenever the fuck they please. No instrumentalist would like get their instrument out in the dorms because you would immediately just get in trouble because it was obnoxious. But the practice rooms are open 24 hours a day. All you do is scan your school ID and go in there and practice. It's fine. I did not get any better at tuba from playing tuba. There are some things, because it's like you're saying, right? Like you reach that point at the all-nighter where you're just like, gotta keep going. It turns out that's not a good way to get better at a performing art. Like you can force yourself to do things, but you're not in a good mental space to be like, oh, the tone of that note was a little bright. I should really do some long tones and work on keeping my tongue down and my throat open and really try and round out. Like in the middle of the night, I was just like, push the buttons, blow the thing, push the buttons, blow the thing. You know what doesn't make good music? Playing like a half asleep robot person all through the night. So that was an experiment in, well, if I'm not going to sleep anyway, what if it doesn't work? I should have just kept playing Call of Duty, because then at least I would have had fun and maybe practice during the day. I mean, not that I didn't practice during the day, honestly. I just lack some fundamental aspects of what makes a really good classical musician. I was a very, very good funk and jazz musician because I have really strong rhythm. And that was my favorite thing anyway. I didn't want to play in an orchestra. Get out of here, stinky orchestra.
I think that subconscious like thought process there affects everything that we do. Like it really is like, even if your foremind is just like, I want to do I gotta do the thing. If your hind mind isn't in, rhythm with what you're thinking, it's not going to work. And I think like that's where all-nighters are great, when there is that urgency, because for me it's like sometimes, my hind brain in there is like, I can fiddle, I gotta prep for the next thing. So I just like, it's so hot in there. So I'm like, I'll plan how to stay cool when I do this thing. So I spent a whole day like getting ice chests and coolers and shit like that. But when it's all together, it's amazing. And when those moments happen, are just like really, really special.
When they don't happen, whenever you think you've got the most brilliant plan in the world and everything is wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the vet years ago. I think it was like 2018. I think it was the year we got our dogs.
What plan do you have at the vet?
Oh, trust me, there's a plan.
I know how to cure animals.
We're like, okay, we got to drive to Minnesota and Presley gets car sick. So what if we tell them this and they give us like some doggy melatonin or something, help him just relax, sleep on the drive? They're like, yes, here. We're like, great. Don't pay any attention. We take the meds. We're like, awesome. This is going to be great. And then I'm like, what if Molly, listen, what if on top of this, we drive at night? Because I'm like a night person. Like 11 o'clock, I'm like, woo, I'm awake. So we drive at night when the dogs are tired anyway and they sleep. And you and I, we can stay awake till like 4 or 5 a.m. easy. I can stay awake till 7 a.m. easy. So we drive to Minnesota. We leave at like 10 p.m. We get there, 10 a.m. It's about a 12-hour drive. And the last 3 or 4 hours be a little tough, but like, we'll make it. Whatever. So we give the dogs their medicine and we leave Cincinnati. We get to Indianapolis. In the back seat in the crate, we hear, I'm not going to mimic it for the sake of the audience, but we hear that sound of a dog getting ready to hurl. And I'm like, oh God. Well, first part of the plan, failure. I thought why isn't he asleep? Doesn't melatonin mean you never wake up to anything ever?
God, I hope not.
Well, it turns out they didn't give us doggy sleep medicine. They gave us doggy anxiety medicine. Like, oh, your dogs are just very anxious. The problem is their anxiety. I'm like, no, he gets car sick. It's because their anxiety. No, please just help him sleep, relax. He's very, very anxiety. So we were like, why the hell did you give us anxiety meds? We thought it would help.
He's very anxiety. You might want to examine which vet you're taking your dogs to.
Yeah, well, we did actually. But we get to Indianapolis, which is an hour and a half from Cincinnati, which is not 12 hours away. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm doing the math. I'm like, okay, now the dogs are in a crate swirling in their own puke. We have 10 and a half hours left of this drive. We got to try to like clean out the crate. So we pull over, start trying to clean out the crate, puts a delay, get back on the road. We brought some extra towels just in case, hit the road. We get like an hour further in and Molly and I are like, oh God, I'm tired. I forgot driving puts me to sleep. It's like the one thing that actually makes me tired. Oh, this is a horrible mistake. But we can't go back now. We gotta keep going.
We're almost 2.5 hours away from home. We couldn't possibly turn back.
So like I swear every hour and a half, the dog's almost on cue would get sick. We'd have to stop and clean out the crate. We drive. Molly and I are switching every hour and a half because we just cannot stay awake. We're so tired. It takes us an extra like 2 or 3 hours to get there. And by the time it's like 1 p.m. and we pull in, I think we stay with like her sister. I remember us like getting out of the car and we're just like, okay, we gotta clean the dogs to go to bed. And they're like, hi, how are you guys? And we're like, we gotta clean out the crate and go to bed. And she looked at me and I thought she was actually going to kill me. And she's like, we are never doing a night drive like that ever again. I don't care if someone died, we're not doing it. And I was like, you're right, honey. Dude, I don't know if I've ever been more miserable than like the last 6 hours of that drive, just knowing there was more dog vomit. The dogs are miserable, we're miserable, and I'm like, I'm a night person, I swear. As I'm like trying not to nod at the wheel. It was a really terrible all night idea.
You know, the answer was right in front of you all along. The vet gave you anxiety meds. It just sounds like you were stressed.
We should have taken them.
You should have, yeah.
How many dog anxiety meds are people good for there?
You're at least 4 dogs of a person.
Yeah, probably 4.
The dogs were like 10 pounds. I was about 220, so I just take 22 times the amount that the dogs take.
Yeah, slug down the whole thing. Probably fine.
Sorry, Molly, no anxiety for you.
How bad could it be to be even less anxious? What could go wrong?
And I'm sure dog meds are the same as people meds, just a lower dose.
You know, we could solve this problem. You know Airbnb, right? What if we built a bigger Airbnb building with like multiple rooms in it, right?
Not what I thought you were going for.
What did you say?
I don't know why, but in my head, I was like, he's going to make an Irish accent joke and be like, what if it's Airbnb? I don't know why. I just really disappointed that's not what happened. What does it even mean? Because it's like Car-B&B, but it rhymes with Airbnb. Car-B&B.
Yeah, Mark, why didn't you think about that?
Why didn't you think of that? The most obvious answer.
You're right. I'm so stupid. God, no.
Fine. Say your stupid thing you were going to say or whatever.
I already said it. It's like I was making a joke if only hotels existed.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you got to find one that takes dogs. It's the middle of the night. What do you want us to do? Look at our phones?
There's tons. I've driven all over. There's tons of hotels that take dogs.
Oh, God, we didn't have time for that. We were almost there.
I can actually contest to that. Attest to that as well. I drove cross country with Lexi and I didn't have reservations. And I just, whenever it got to be time to stop, I sort of Googled and was like, yeah, these 4 hotels all accept pets. Let's do this.
We're already like a third of the way there. Might as well just finish it. We're already like halfway there. Might as well just finish it.
Only 10 more hours of driving.
What could go wrong?
No, we had it. They got sick once. They're not going to get sick again. They got it out of their system. They're fine.
Dude, late night driving is such a trap. I was always a late night person. And speaking more about college, where I went to school was about 2 hours away from my parents' house. And so and I had a car at school for several of the years I was in college. So I would drive myself home to visit them for holidays or on the weekends. But it was always that thing where it was like, well, if I just go later, it'll be like after rush hour, right? And if I just go even later, there'll be no one on the roads. There won't be a soul out there. I can just make the drive, no traffic, no delays. It'll be perfect. And I always ended up driving that relatively short 2-hour drive, like I would leave at 1 a.m. and get to my parents' house at like 3-ish. And there were definitely some times where I overestimated how good I was at driving in the middle of the night. And like halfway there, I would be like, oh man. Ooh, and there was one time where I actually was like, I felt like I might fall asleep on the road, and I straight up just pulled over into like a truck stop and slept in my car for an hour because I was like, this is probably not safe. And this is not in a modern, like a fancy 2024 car that has like auto stopping, or I had an old piece of crap that only worked most of the time at best and would not do anything to save my ass if I fell asleep while driving it. It's awful. Driving overnight always sounds like a good idea to me too. It's always a bad idea.
It was even worse with two of us. Well, it was good, but we had two of us to switch off. But like, whenever it's just you can like roll down the window, crank the air, turn the volume up. With two of us, with one of us like needing to sleep, it was like, well, I can't turn the radio on. All I need is to sleep. I can't hum. I can't do anything to stay awake. I'm just gonna stay awake because, oh god, willpower. No.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of being so afraid you're gonna fall asleep while cruising down the highway that you roll down all the windows, crank the music up as loud as you can, and you're singing Bohemian Rhapsody at full blast while you still feel like you'd rather just die in the ditch as you fall asleep on the side of the road.
Looking like a zombie, just like, is this a real life?
There is one particular stretch of road coming from Cincinnati to LA that goes like through Colorado, going into Nevada, I believe, or wherever it is. There's Junction City is the other end of it. And there's a mountain pass in there. Have you ever been on that road?
I don't think I only did that drive once. I don't think that's the way I went. I went through like Salt Lake City. I think I was further south than that, maybe.
It's kind of a road that's like closed during the winter, or you can't go through it if you don't have chains, right? So that's one of the stressful things. If they say you need chains, you need chains. Like there's chain up areas going up and down. That drive is stressful during the day, because these mountains, the way they are is they look like they're over your car. They're so tall and they're so vertical and they just look like this. And you're like, that looks like any rock could fall at any moment. And I swear to God, when we were driving, I was in the passenger seat, I looked up like, man, I wonder how often they fall. Ka-chunk. I saw one, like, God, just right there. And it's like this winding, like 2-lane highway with like a guardrail and a divider. And it's just like these winding turns, and people are taking them like 55, and I don't speed, but everyone else is. And it's stressful during the day. We've driven that at night. That shit's fucking terrifying, because like if there is any light from the moon or something like that, like you can just see the outlines of these like jagged mountains, just look like mouths opening up around you, and then all of a sudden the moon will just whoosh, it's gone because a mountain just it's terrifying at night.
Dude, I hate that so much. Having lived in North Carolina and had family in Ohio, we drove that drive quite a bit because we lived down there for like 6 or 7 years. And in like West Virginia and Virginia, you drive through the mountains, and there are a bunch of stretches of that drive where there's just, you're cutting. It's not like the one you're describing, but you are cutting through mountains, and there's stretches where clearly there have been rock slides or whatever, and rocks come down and land. And the signs that like every stretch where that happens, there's a sign that's like, caution, falling rocks. And every time I see one of those signs, it makes me so fucking mad, because it's like, I don't know, maybe other people work differently. What does that help me with? What does that prepare me for? Like if I'm cruising down the highway at 70 and I see the sign, and then a half hour later a rock comes falling down, I'm like, oh, this is what they prepared me for. Ooh, and I go, no matter what sign you put, if there's a rock falling into the highway, my reaction is, oh fuck, oh my god. And so the sign just like reminds you to be anxious the whole time. It doesn't do anything to help. And my even less favorite sign is there are some stretches where it's like, caution, falling rocks, rock mitigation techniques in effect, or something like that, where it's like, we put up some nets. Clearly that doesn't work either. Fuck you guys. Like, you put up some nylon ripstop nets for a 3-ton boulder that's going to come crashing down the side of this mountain, Mach 30 into the side of my car. That's
hilarious, because like in LA, there's this one highway that goes right around this mountain. It's very tight. I think it's, I don't know, the 5 to the 101. I'm very Californians, but it has this mountain that has falling rocks on it. And there was a fence there. There was. One day we get like you hear on the news like this highway off-ramp is closed because there's a rock in it, and the picture is just like the rock plowed through this fence. Like just it wasn't even there. It's a I hope I'm remembering that right, because there must be a picture out there of this where it's just like, and it's like this lane's just closed. And I think about that because I'm like, yeah, you're right. If I look up, what am I going to watch out for it? I'm just going to see it coming. Like I'm just going to watch it as it's getting me. I'd rather not know.
That's when you bring your butterfly net so you can catch them.
Ah, right. Just got a net right here. I got it.
What they should do is treat mountains like roller coaster hills and just have you go straight up. But it's like, well, if the car can't go that, it's like, well, you build a little track that hooks to your car, pulls you up, and you go, wow, straight down.
No, you do it like those ski lifts where it's not a ride-on lift, but you roll your window down and there's a little rope with bars hanging off of it, and you sort of pull up next to it and you grab the bar and then you hold on and it pulls you up the mountain.
With your car.
Yeah, you just like, your car helps, but then you just hold on and like pulls your whatever.
That makes sense.
Put your car in neutral, just grab a rope and hold on.
Oh, you know what? If we're talking about drives, I don't know if I've complained about this on the show before. Since we're talking about it, another hilarious feature of the drive between North Carolina and Ohio is there's a stretch. I don't know what happened, but there's a stretch in West Virginia where the road is like, it's through mountains still, but it's in like the ground is I don't know how to say it. The ground moves a lot. I don't know if it's like sandy or if there's like earthquake activity or what, but like, and that fucks with roads, right? Even if it's only a slight shift, if the ground isn't like really stable, roads will, get all wonky and crack and whatever. And there's a stretch where there are multiple points where there are big signs that are like, look out, there's a dip. There's a big dip in the road. And like 3 out of 4 of the signs, you see the sign and you're like, whoa. And then right after the sign, you're kind of like, bagunk. And you're like, whoa, that was a big dip. But there's one where I swear to fucking God, there's no dip. And it's just a prank. Like you see, it's a huge sign that's like, what, caution, dip in the road. And you're like, yeah. Was that it? No, there's the dip in the room. It's gonna chase us down. I don't know. It's like a prank. I swear to God, it's like a prank. The highway Department of Transportation or whatever pulled, because there's nothing. But then you spend the next like 5-10 minutes. You're like, dip.
I get like that with railroad crossings. There are some railroad crossings that you hit and it's just like, oh, I barely felt the thing. And there's other ones that you hit and like, even if you're going slow, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, like you can go flying over some and it's like smooth as butter. And other railroads, it's like they made that as fucking jank as shit to make sure that you get your ass rocked no matter how slow you hit it.
God, that actually, you just reminded me of a moment I had last night that I had forgotten about involving something like that. I'm driving along and I hear what I think is an avalanche. All right. Okay. There's no mountains near me. It's
those Texas avalanches.
I know, right? But it sounds like an earthquake or something. Something is rumbling and it's getting louder. And I'm just driving. It's not even a highway. It's just like a side road, and something is getting louder and louder and closer. And I'm so tired. Like, right? So, but I know I can get home, but I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Is this it? Is this dying? Is this death? And it sounds like it's coming from behind me. And then I'm like, okay, is it like a big vehicle? But I'm on the rightmost lane, and I'm like, there's no one passing me on the right. I look over, and there's a train. Literally like speed, like perfectly matching my speed. And it's just like, it was the most cinematic thing I've ever seen in my life. I just look over and it's this train that looks like it's frozen in the air because it's just going the same speed I am. It looks so static. My brain took a few seconds to jar it out of like, oh, we're both going forward. And that was it. But I thought I was dying. I thought,
yeah, that'd be wild. I've never experienced that with a train.
Yeah, I thought there was like a volcano erupting and this was it,
Texas is finally being sucked into hell.
But it was so great because it just reminded me how beautiful, like in those mountains where I was driving, one of the prettiest things we had a similar experience where this train was going the exact same speed and we were rounding a corner and this train popped out of a tunnel at the exact same time. It was beautiful. Trains, I get why people get obsessed with trains because they are just like magnificent machines. I love big machines. They're so cool. And trains are just like, I get it. I totally understand the obsession some people can have with them because that...
They're like mechanical whales. They burst up through the dirt and come back down.
Kind of. The lights on the front, especially at night, because the lights are just like a big beaming light and it looks so different from anything else you had ever seen. And it's moving. It's just, oh, this is cool. And then I died.
Now, have you guys ever done, so railroad crossings change, right? They sort of get worse over time, generally speaking. They get more bumpy because the pavement breaks down or whatever. Have you ever had this thing where like, this railroad crossing is like a smooth one in your head? You're like, I don't have to slow down for this. This is a good one. But also it's possibly been a little while since you've gone over it. There's one near where we live now where I don't know why I didn't put this together, but we finally moved back to Ohio, right? And we live in Cincinnati. And I know this area I've spent a lot of time in a decade ago ish. And so there's this one where I know this railroad crossing really well. You cross it all the time. You go up and down the street very frequently. It took me an embarrassingly long time to relearn that it's a fucking nightmare now. It used to be one where you could just cruise over it. It was perfectly smooth. And the first time I was driving somewhere and I was going in my head, I was like, yeah, this one's chill. We go, and it's that thing where you go over it and it's just like, and for a second, you're like, holy fuck, did I break the whole car? What the hell? And it took me like several terrifying explosion bump festivals before I remembered like, oh yeah, it's been a decade. That's not as smooth like it used to be when I was a child the year before. You ever do that?
No.
I mean, I've hit them like that. Yeah, because you see like the car in front of you is like a Hummer or something that's like an all-terrain vehicle and it like just cruises over full speed. You're like, dude, Civic can do what a Hummer does. And then it does not.
How many Hummers have you driven?
I also watched a person that was like, the warning things are going off. Well, it's like a yellow light. That means you go faster. And they didn't get stuck on the track, but they did get hit by the thing that comes down. And unlike in GTA, that does not just snap. It was like on their car. And she I think it was a lady driving. She could not get out of, she was just stuck there. Like part of her car just like hit with that thing until like the train passed and then it lifted up. And like you could tell it damaged her car pretty good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those things don't really mess around. They seem like they're not a big deal in like movies and stuff because they just blow out of the way and they will stop you from going.
I've seen more than one video of people trying to get out of like a secure parking area and there's like barriers at the end of it. It's like, I'll drive faster. They just crash faster. They just they cave more of their car in half. Like those things are very strong.
Turns out they're not made of cardboard like they are in GTA.
I'm trying to think of their all-nighter type stuff. I mean, obviously with the baby, I've done some involuntary all-nighters, but that's a whole different thing. And it's okay if you're delirious as long as you're doing the correct things for the baby. So this is fine.
I only had one other all-nighter thing I remembered. And I think I've told the story before where we stayed up all night playing Diablo, my friend and I, then we caught a raccoon in a net after cutting down most of my mom's tree in her front yard.
What the fuck?
Is that why that completely unhinged behavior happened? Because you literally didn't sleep and then you were delirious and decided that was a good idea?
I don't know. We just like, we were super into it. We were like close to beating nightmare difficulty or something on the original Diablo.
Oh, with the game. I thought you were super into getting the raccoon. I was like, why are you so excited?
Super into this raccoon.
No. We were super into playing Diablo. We were like, dude, we're gonna finish it. And we didn't know what we were doing, so like we didn't do stats or right. So our builds were all like absolutely fucking terrible. We were like, oh yeah, we're gonna get there. It took a lot longer than we thought, but we beat it. And then it was like 7 a.m. and I don't remember how we even saw it, but like we looked out and there was just a raccoon in the front yard. And my friend was like, we could catch that. And I was like, yes, of course. It all makes sense. Destiny has called our name. It is time. And the raccoon ran up a fucking tree. We were like, well, little does it know that's where its grave will be because it can't go anywhere from there. Get the ladder. Get the tree trimmer. Get the net. Get the dog crate. We've got this.
I'm shocked you have all these supplies. Like, this is a very specific kit.
Why did your mom keep a raccoon catching kit in the garage? That's her mistake, really.
Well, it was a fishing net, and it turns out eventually the raccoon could have squeezed through the holes in that, so we had to be quick. I had to be quick because my friend had to leave for church. Apparently it was a Saturday night because my friend had to leave for church at the
well, you're not going to leave that job undone.
At the apex of our 4 hours of work, he was going to leave, and I was like, you piece of shit, I'll finish it myself, and I did.
I'm going to catch this squirrel without you, and I'm going to keep the whole squirrel. You're not going to get your share or nothing.
You said finish it. Did you eat the raccoon? Did you?
No, we kept it for like 6 hours, then released it.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, you kept it. I'm like, where?
In the dog crate for like 6 hours, and the thing was not happy. That was the most miserable raccoon. And my mom's tree, dude, it was a big tree. dumb kids were like, trees will regrow their limbs. We can cut them all off. We fucked that tree hard, man.
Why did you want this raccoon so bad?
Because we were stupid and teenage boys, and we just wanted to prove we could do it.
Having been a teenage boy, this is still a story where part of me is kind of like, I don't know, man.
This was mild for my friend group. This was a mild decision.
We did some questionable stuff, but I don't know about that, man.
This one was a mild decision that had very little consequence except for the poor fucking tree and the terrorized raccoon.
Did you at least feed it?
We tried.
Wasn't into it?
No, it just wanted to sit in the corner and hiss and spit and be very angry at us.
No, that doesn't make sense. You should be grateful.
We saved it from that tree by cutting down the limb it was standing on.
How high up was this limb?
10, 12 feet. We were on a ladder to cut it down, and then whenever the tree limb fell, and I was like, oh shit, it can run now! And I went running after it with the net, and I literally dove on the ground with the net to catch it.
The story never isn't funny. I just can't.
I don't remember the story at all. When did you say all this?
It's very Beverly fucking hillbilly stupid shit.
He definitely told this before, because I remember it, but
Yeah. That was the no sleep. Then my mom comes out at like, I don't know, 9 in the morning and like steps out. Like she had like we had like a little fake balcony front porch thing. It's like you'd go out and stand there, but there was no room to actually do anything. So it was just kind of cosmetic. I remember her stepping out there with like a cup of coffee and a cigarette. And she's like, the fuck are you doing? And we're like, catch a raccoon, mom. And she was like, she mumbled something under her breath. Probably like, it's too early for this shit. Or like, what, who knows? But didn't see her again until we caught it. And then she just looked at the tree.
did the raccoon go immediately into the tree? So for 4 straight hours, you guys were just slowly dismantling this tree while the raccoon watched you?
Yes.
Man, that's some fucked up torture right there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, from the raccoon's perspective, this is the most terrifying several hours of its existence. That is horrifying.
And meanwhile, we're like, oh, we're going to get you little shit.
I have one. It's not a very interesting story. Did you guys ever do like Christmas all-nighters? There was a point in life, and I had a friend who lived across the street. We were really into like scheming around Christmas for no real reason because we didn't really do anything. But one year, I think I had gotten some of those walkie-talkies, like those short-range walkie-talkies, from our bedrooms across the street from each other. We could talk to each other, and we sort of like pulled an all-nighter, like staying up, talking back and forth about what sounds we heard going on in the house, and listening to like the Santa tracker on the radio type thing. And like,
oh, Santa tracker. I was like, sanity tracker. Wow.
Santa tracker. Yeah.
I need to take my sanity pills.
It was just in retrospect, a really weird decision, but we were just like screwing around and didn't want to sleep because we were excited about Christmas and presents and stuff. It's technically an all-nighter. I think he fell asleep at some point. He was a bitch.
All of our friends were bitches, man. They were always ones like, all-nighter tonight, boys. Get the soda, get the chocolate chips, get the Doritos. We're doing it.
What?
Then like 2 a.m. they're like, and I'm wide awake, fucking wired.
The chocolate chips?
Yeah, we ate just chocolate chips for some reason.
I get it. I understand.
Were they semi-sweet or were they milk chocolate chips, though?
They were bitter, pure cocoa.
They were like the yellow Nestle bag that you use for making cookies.
Yeah, there are lots of varieties of that.
I was 12, man. I don't remember.
All right. Well, if they were semi-sweet, then you're all insane, and that's a terrible thing. But yes, I'll let it pass.
They were always out by like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I was like, I'll do it myself, you fucks! And then like 6 a.m. would hit, and I'm like, I'm going down. I'd be out.
I'm trying to remember what my first all-nighter was. I think I remember it, and I don't think I've told you guys about this one. So my dad, after my parents got divorced, was dating around. And at the time, thinking about it, I didn't realize what was even happening at the time. So he would go. So one time we were over at someone's place and we were going to be there. I didn't know at the time, but we were going to be there overnight because my dad dating around, but he had us, couldn't afford a babysitter. So we were along with, I guess, at whoever this person's house was. I don't even remember, some lady. And she had a computer and she had StarCraft on it. And it had like just came out. And I think, I'm almost positive that I just stayed up all night playing that because I remember playing it and I can hear the music like of the game of the ambient music of StarCraft going on. And I remember playing it at night. And then the next thing I know, there's light coming out of like the windows. And I look over and I'm like, what? what the hell? And then people come down the stairs, and my dad comes downstairs, and then no memory of anything after that. I think I was so tired, but I didn't even realize that I was tired. I think that's the first all-nighter I ever pulled, and it was completely incidental.
The first time I ever played StarCraft, holy shit. Oh, man. I didn't have a computer that could play it until around the time Brood War came out. And I remember when I got to go and pick up a copy of Brood War that came with the original disc so you could install StarCraft. And then, holy crap, that game hit so hard back then.
I had that experience with Red Alert 2 when Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 came out.
Man, that was a good one too. For me, like with StarCraft, the thing that mesmerized me about it wasn't just like the music and the ambience was cool and the graphics were cool and whatnot. It was the way the Zerg creep worked, the ground for the Zerg. I was obsessed with it. I couldn't understand like anything. I was like looking at it all the time. I'm like, it's so weird. What? You have to build on that? It's so strange. And I was like fascinated by it. Good times. Anyway, any more all-nighters?
No, but you reminded me of where my dad was dating, and I didn't stay up all night playing video games, but the girl he was dating had like 2 sons that were like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years older than me, maybe even older, maybe like 10 years older than me. And I had a pet mouse at the time, and they took me to a store and they bought me 2 new like mouse cages that you could connect and build like a big mouse mansion.
Well, that's nice.
And I remember thinking like I was so fucking cool because I had like the 3 mouse cages.
I mean, that is fun.
Till you have to clean them, turns out that sucks.
That's how pets are.
That's a lot of poop in the little tunnels you got to clean out.
But still, that was very nice of them.
Yeah, it was. I have no idea why they did it, unless they were like, let's appease this little shit so he'll leave us alone.
I thought you were going to say that they killed your mouse or something.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a way worse story.
They had no reason, like, you know, their mom's dating some guy who's bringing his, like, fucking kids, and it's like, they were just really cool. They play, like, I bought my PlayStation up one time, and they, like, played video games with me. They bought me those like, they were really nice.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so sweet. I'll give you some nice, older, not bros, but, you know, potential could have been, yeah.
My dad had just stuck around instead of dying, that son of a bitch. He took my brothers away.
Discovering games at other people's houses is such a strong childhood memory for me. One time specifically, it was family actually. It was like my cousin's house. They had a PS2, and I think they had the original Max Payne PS2 game, and I'd never played it. And I just remember, like, we showed up, and it was one of those things where it was like a family party, lots of family together. And we're usually, you know, I'm supposed to make the rounds and say hi to everyone. I remember that time we showed up, I hung out a little bit. And then at one point, my cousin was like, hey, check this out, and turned on the Max Payne on the PS2. And all I remember is sitting in the front room of that house playing that game forever until like 6 hours later, my parents walked in and were like, there you are. It's time to go. And I was like, wait, I'm not done. Wait a second. What day is it? And then, yeah, like that experience of like, just like, cause I never owned PlayStations. We were a Nintendo house. So every time I went somewhere and someone had like a Sega Genesis or PS1 or PS2 or something, like there was just a whole universe opened up. Or if someone had a PC, goddamn, my neighbor across the street had like a PC that could play games. We could handle some stuff. God, the joy of just someone turning something on and you're like, I didn't even know this was possible.
That's how the Pokemon Blue was. There was a kid on the bus who he lived one street over from me, but he was playing Pokemon Blue. And I remember sitting by him on the bus and I was watching him play it. And I'd played like Sega Genesis. I played like Lion King, some PGA Tour games, Sonic, basically all games that you would play and you'd either lose or have to leave. So you turn it off and start over next time. But he saved his progress and like I could watch his progress every day on the bus. I was like, I remember watching him grind. I was like, dude, this game is so complex. There's so much to do. You can save it and just come back to it tomorrow. And I like every day I was just so intrigued. I was like, dude, I hope he beats the gym today. I was just so, it was like one of my first Let's Play experience of like multi episodes. Like every day I was like, oh, I'm feeling sick, but I'm not going to stay home from school. I'll miss the gym. I gotta get on the bus and watch him beat the gym leader today. I was just so fucking excited to watch him play Pokemon Blue on the Game Boy.
Oh God, that was the best. I watched in my buddy's basement the entire franchise. I watched him play Time Splitters on the GameCube. God, those were some times, man. Just laying there, some of those were probably all-nighters. Some of those were probably like sun came up next morning. Eventually we got kicked out because they had to go to church or whatever, and I walked home and fell asleep. But man, the excitement of watching someone else play a game and slowly, like the progression, so good.
Final Fantasy X. I watched my friend play Final Fantasy X. It was like all summer because it's such a long, grindy game.
That's a good one for that.
There's a whole nother line of memory. Anyway, yeah, Mark, all-nighters.
They're great. Especially the ones that are involuntary. Planned ones, not so much. Involuntary ones are just magical. Yeah.
The only one that was like naturally happened was that Diablo raccoon night for me. The other ones were all great ideas that were not.
And it went so well, I can see why.
All right, I'm calling it here. Let's see, what do we got? Wade, you have pirate construction site. I still don't know what you're imagining there.
The beam held by a crane, like ricketing in the wind.
Oh, I know what you mean. You're talking about the I-beam that's strung by a rope.
Yeah.
And when it swings towards the camera, it makes a specific like
It's like the metal and rope sound.
Creaking.
I can't creak. My bones do, but my mouth won't.
My mouth don't creak.
All right, so you get the pirate construction site, segue point, Craven kill me, very anxiety dogs. You got your butterfly net. Destiny has called. What was that for?
Oh, the raccoon. Whenever we looked out and saw it.
Right. Nice older bros, and then Pokemon points watch plays. Like, that's all one. Bob, you got rollerblade. Oh, the chair, right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I got some time for video games. You sure do. You got 2 points because late night tuba, just really funny. And then push the buttons, blow the thing. Like, I want that on a shirt. That's a great slogan. Night driving, anxiety rocks for falling rocks, and then Max Payne. Max Payne reference, you got that. Which if I did my math right, you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have a tie.
No.
An actual tie that I wasn't paying attention to the points when I was doing it. There was a lot of good stuff today, which means that we have the wheel.
What percentage is the bad part at?
I think it's at 8.
Isn't the bad part for Mark?
Yeah, it's for me.
I mean, it's kind of for all of us, but it's aimed at Mark because he's the host this time, yes.
I got a good feeling, Bob. This is the time. The wheel will favor you.
Oh, no.
I think I have a strong advantage on this roll.
Boom. Wheel.
Oh, boy.
Bob Wade punishment.
Yeah, that punishment wedge is bigger than I would have hoped for it to look.
This just makes it look weird because the camera
Are
auto
you holding a...
Yeah, it's my light. Trying to make it look all dramatic and scary, but the camera auto exposes and just it just looks weird. Camera, stop. Don't make me look weird. Come on, camera, please. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, man, it doesn't get much closer than that. Be glad it's not 10%.
That's what happened like the first time we spun it. Oh,
God.
all right. Congratulations, Bob. Jesus Christ.
Wheels out here just fucking with you, Mark.
Right. So, Bob, congratulations. You have won. Please give your winner speech.
I did it. This was a fun one. It's probably just like nostalgia goggles, or I don't know what you call it, but getting to talk about the video games, watching your friends play video games in childhood. I love that memory of doing that. And I was never the kid who played them. I was always a watcher. I loved watching. I would talk about that forever. This was a great episode, Mark.
Oh, dear.
Best topic we've had in a while. I loved it. I won because I loved it. And I loved it because I won.
Can't beat that logic. Wade, you had equivalent points, so this is barely losing, all up to the wheel.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed this episode. I don't know what we're doing, but...
Sorry, look, I have a hood on my lens, and it was dusty, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't leave it. It's dusty.
Here's like, Mark, great idea.
Listen,
There's a special treat if you go watch the video and go to the end.
Well, I too thought it was a great episode. I had fun talking about sleep and the different things and whatever have you. So great memories, video game stuff. Thank you, Mark. Bob, well wind. Good episode.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for participating. Everyone at home, if you've had all-nighters, hope they were productive. They very rarely are, but when they are, it's magical. So thank you for listening and or watching. We have merch, Distractible Store. Yes?
yeah.
DistractibleStore.com. Accept no substitutes. Follow all of us at our various social handles on Markiplier, MyScrim, and Lord Minion777 or Minion777. This has been Distractible. Follow or we'll get you.
Did you say social animals?
Yes. Podcast out.